Fearscape Media Network, exploring the unknown, one podcast at a time.
Support for the Fearscape Media Network is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer just for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code FEARSCAPE at manscaped.com. Fearscape Paranormal Podcast, part of the Fearscape Media Network. Prepare to be spooked. New episodes every Wednesday on all major podcast platforms. Find out more at fearscapepodcast.com.
Coming to you from nowhere, a suburb of parts unknown. Your ghoulish hosts for an evening of terror, Stefan Gearhart and Lance Wayne, the Misters of the Dark.
Good evening, dear friends. Welcome to another terrifying episode of Misters of the Dark, the greatest horror podcast in the history of horror podcasting. As always, we are beaming directly to you from nowhere, a suburb of parts unknown. I'm your head, Mr. Lord Stefan Gearhart.
I'm your co-mister, the man with no name, Lance Wayne. Stefan! I need some more clear eyes over here.
Okay, here.
Oh, wow.
You know, you're probably wondering, dear friends, why we seem to be so on edge this evening.
Stefan!
Ah!
I saw him again. He's even closer than last time.
Okay. Calm down. Okay, listen, you've had eyes open for a solid week. There's no way in hell he can be getting any closer to you, Lance. It's okay. As I was saying, last week, me and Lance watched a little unknown gem called...
Don't even say its name.
What? He can't pop up simply by saying his name. He's not Bloody freaking Mary.
We don't want her showing up too.
Who? Bloody Mary?
Stefan!
Anyway, we would like to introduce a new segment to the show where from time to time we take a look at horror films we love but are, not as well known as some of the other classics, but we think you should know. Dear friends, will you help us in ushering in Lest We Forget 2018's Butterfly Kisses?
Stefan!
I said the title of the film, Lance, not Bloody Mary. Uh-oh. Okay, let's just talk. We'll deal with it. It is what it is.
Okay.
Butterfly kisses, singing bedtime prayers. The little white flowers all up in her hair.
You don't know anything about kissing the girls and making them cry. Late nights, parties, woo!
With your butterfly. Oh,
kissing the girls and making them cry.
Look out, baby. It's so butterfly. We got butterfly kisses. This is my bad. I'm the one that did this to you, Lance. I said, hey, check out this list of POV found footage films.
Yeah.
that no, you haven't seen but should have. There were a couple good ones on there. I watched The Tunnel, which was really good, which I would like to revisit. Got my the Mister's sister. She watched it and enjoyed that as yeah. So we might
Chris the Dish.
Yeah, we might. That's my sister. Might have to bring her.
My quarter sister.
We might have to bring her on for that. But the one of the other ones was Butterfly Kisses, and we see what has happened to you. So
yeah. I just start. I think
fucking movie.
I think we should start off though. Just I kind of like to talk about found footage, the genre. Just kind of just dash over a little bit because this is something starting out. I don't know. I find, and I was even in that group for a little bit, but people really hate this genre. Have you ever come across that?
I do. People hate it. And I think that the taboo came from directors that were pissed off at people like the Blair Witch Project that had like $9 budget and tricked people and used this found footage idea as a way to cut down on budget. And it's brilliant where they spend all these millions of dollars. I'm trying to remember what other horror movies came out when Blair Witch came out, but I know all those directors were super pissed because they didn't make the money because Blair Witch was the hit.
Yeah. And I don't know, I just find it interesting because like I said, I was in that minority for a little bit. As I've gotten older, I've come to like I'm not so much like a huge fan of found footage. It's just I really appreciate when there's a good found footage film.
And that's the thing. So after Blair Witch, there were so many copycats, and it was studios were like, oh, we don't have to spend money. Yeah. And so it became largely dominant in horror for a while.
It did. And then you got the bubblegum, Paranormal Activity movies, which I like, but they're bubblegum pop of found footage. Yeah. You know what I mean? Well, see, I don't even really think the whole trend started off with the Blair Witch. I think it more so started off with Paranormal Activity. Because Blair Witch, I mean, think of the sequel to the Blair Witch. It was the Book of Shadows.
I love Blair Witch too. You talk about a guilty pleasure. Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows.
It has a fan base. It does. It does have a fan base.
No, I will say that the third Blair Witch that came out, where that was just called Blair Witch. That was
Blair Witch.
Found footage again was really good. Also, the Blair Witch video game that came out a couple years ago. Whoo, shit, dude! I played that.
Yeah,
I would only play it at night with headphones on, and so like that surround sound. So like the whole time I'm like looking behind me. It's scary as shit, dude.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play.
I remember that coming out.
Yeah, but I did enjoy. I think some of it. Well, I mean, here's the thing: found footage. It was around before then, but Blair Witch made it popular because I mean you had the Jersey Devil one. What's that called? The Last Broadcast.
Yes, and before that you even had the McPherson tapes.
Yeah, the McPherson, which it's on Shudder now. I finally got to watch it. Yeah. And holy shit, it's good. And I'm like,
it is. It is.
It was good. And let me tell you, there are people in the paranormal community that still think that's real. Because people in like back in the day had like edited out the credits and all that shit and was sending it around to UFO conventions and stuff. So people legit thought it, because it never had a wide release. The internet wasn't fucking huge. And so it was getting fucking like sent out to people, and people legit thought that shit was real fucking footage of stuff. The McPherson tape, man, and then apparently there's a remake that the same guys did. I haven't seen the remake.
Yes, I have heard of that.
Yeah, I do want to see it though. But I love the McPherson tape. I just finally got to see it. I thought it was pretty good, and that would have scared the dick off of me if I would have watched that when it came out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when Blair Witch came out,
right? I believed it, boy. Let me tell you, you want to know about Blair Witch, dude?
I was in college and I was just exploring paganism. Okay, when I was going to an all-Christian college. And
I remember this story.
Yeah. And so I saw.
Tell people this story about you.
I saw the fucking mockumentary that was on Sci-Fi or whatever that was all about the Blair Witch, and I didn't, because they did. You talk about good marketing. They did not say it was a mockumentary. So I'm like, holy shit. And this is not Wikipedia days. There was no looking up a lot of shit.
No. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. And I believed 100% of this. And we all go to the fucking movie and I got my feet lifted up. We're so scared, dude. I was so fucking, and then we go outside and we go and pray for these people in the parking lot.
You did a prayer circle. I remember you telling me that.
We were so scared for them. We were like, thank God, they can't be dead. We gotta pray for them. The whole time I'm like, boy, I definitely can't tell these people that I'm looking at paganism now, because they gonna think I know the Blair Witch.
Yeah, you're cahoots with her. You were fucking sit by her, double agent.
Oh my God.
But anyway, I guess that's as good a point as any to jump off, because this film, I mean, it's.
Well, and then there's contention. There's contention as well, because there's different types of found footage too. It's like, this is documentary style. So getting back to Butterfly Kisses is done documentary style. So you're actually following two stories. It's something that I really like about that.
That was something. Yeah, because I told you, like I said, we were chit-chatting before we were recording, but I watched it again yesterday, and like halfway through it, I'm like, oh, this is a movie within a movie.
It is. It's a movie within a movie.
Yeah.
And because I also recently watched the Poughkeepsie tapes, which I thought was going to be awful, but turned out to be really good.
Oh, no, Poughkeepsie. Oh, man. That's something we need to cover in the future.
Oh, my God. It was so good. But I like that. That was done documentary style as well. But this is done even differently. It's similar, but it's different because it's a movie within a movie. And it's interesting because it's almost the footage that they find is nothing but foreshadowing, and it's going to run parallel. Yeah. And it's almost like seeing the Titanic sink, that happened, that some other shit's gonna happen to the crew that's doing this. So very, very interesting. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be, but very good story. And oh God, that main guy Gavin, I hated him so much. And they did a really good job of making you hate him.
I felt very what's the word I'm looking for? Justified, or whatever you want to call it. Whatever you, because I watched it for you, and with like the whole backstory of like folklore and things like that. I was like, oh, Stefan, this is all up Stefan's alley. And I told you to check it out, and then you said, oh, I checked it out, and he's like, one of the first things he said to me was, didn't you fucking hate Gavin? And I was like, yes, because I didn't know, but I'd be watching it the second time, it made me hate that character even more.
And so they did good, because it was on purpose. They did a very, very good job of making you hate this motherfucker. But okay, well, let's get into it. All right. And so, of course, spoiler alert, we're gonna ruin the movie for you.
Yep, spoiler. Yep.
Because sometimes we watch movies so you don't have to, but I think you should watch this one. It's a good one.
Well, this is why, lest we forget.
So essentially, the movie starts with this girl saying, hey, whoever finds this footage, and we're like, okay, so she's straight up saying found footage, y'all, but whoever finds this footage, please put this at the beginning and the end of the edit. So you're like, okay.
And she states she's a student, she's a film major.
Yep.
And I forgot what her name was. Only person's name I remember is the Feldman and Gavin. Those are only two people I remember.
She's Sophia Crane.
Sophia, okay.
Yep.
I wonder if she's related to Frasier.
Or Jonathan.
Oh, yes, the Scarecrow. Maybe he's Peeping Tom. Oh! So,
yeah. So anyways, This whole movie is about the legend of Peeping Tom, which I've heard before. So I don't know if they're. I didn't get a chance to do any research, but I don't know if they're pulling off the real urban legend of Peeping Tom, but I think they are. Because that's a pretty standard Peeping Tom legend out there that you got to keep your eyes open. And I'd never heard the fucking butterfly kisses part, which is the whole thing. So the urban legend here, this is filmed in Pennsylvania. And so the urban legend here is there's this old train trestle and it goes into a tunnel. And that if you keep your eyes open for like an hour, is that right?
Yeah, it's an hour.
So if
an hour at midnight.
At midnight.
From 12 to 1. Yeah.
To 1 at 1 o'clock. Peeping Tom will rise up and then give you butterfly kisses and then be gone.
Well, he's kind of like you know this better than I do. The angel statues from
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Yeah, where if you blink. Yeah, when you blink, every time you blink, he's closer.
Right, he gets closer.
Every time you blink, he's that, and he's supposed to. That's where the butterfly kisses comes from, because I guess it's his eyelashes.
Yeah, that's what a that's a butterfly kiss is with your eyelashes.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty creepy. But he had other names too, like what was it?
Blink Man.
Yeah, the Blink Man and some things like
Mr.
that.
Blink.
Mr. Blink.
We meet again.
We meet again, Mr. Blink. But yeah, I liked that. I was like, I love urban legends. Totally down for that. I mean, Louisville, we have the Goat Man and some things like this, but I love urban legends where you have to do something. So like with Goat Man, you just got to be there and his ass is going to get
just go.
He's going to hypnotize you. You're going to get hit by a train like them girls did last year. Yeah. And, in real life, people, it was messed up. But this is the one where you got to do stuff, so it's kind of like, Mary with the blood.
X-nay on the Mary Tay.
Or Candyman, so things like that you have to do
Candyman,
stuff.
yeah.
Or like those ones where you where you're on the bridge and you have to do something, you have to like say something and then you get back and there's like little baby handprints on your fucking
yeah.
So I liked this, and so they were wanting to do their film project, like their senior film project. This is Sophia and Feldman wanted to do their senior project on the Peeping Tom, and so they went around and is essentially that is them doing that. Well, how did the tapes get found? This is where we meet stupid ass Gavin.
Yeah, Gavin. Yeah. So he who also happens to be a film major.
Yeah, he is also. Oh my god! And he is, like Sophia and Feldman. They're the film majors that I was friends with. Gavin is the film majors that we all hated.
Yeah.
In college, he is that guy. Oh my god, he is that guy.
Very bitter.
Yes,
because his wife even says, "Oh well, he has to film weddings and things like that. That's how we earn our money."
But they went to her parents' house. Mrs. Gavin, whatever the hell her name was.
yeah. Shit.
Amelia.
He has a kid too. But,
so they go to they're at her parents' house. And they're like doing something in the basement. Well, they find underneath like the water heater or something, they find this box of tapes that says "Don't watch," which is
do not watch.
Which is weird to me.
What do they fucking do?
Which is weird to me because Sophia's like, whoever finds this, please edit this on the front. Whichever film major finds this. But she says,
and if your name happens to be Gavin.
Yeah, but she says don't watch. So I feel like it should say please watch, and the first tape is the one you should put at the beginning and the end.
Why did she just write the fucking instructions on it?
We don't know though, because I don't recall if we ever found out how the tapes got in that house. Did we?
Yeah, no.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, and this is I'm going to save it till a little later, but there were some problems I had with this film as far as story's concerned.
Oh, for sure. So needless to say, Gavin's the one that finds these tapes. He quick backstory, because they go through this throughout the movie. he has been trying to get it released, but is having issues getting it released and everything because he's not just putting it out to the public, he's editing it. So people are thinking he's editing it to create a narrative. So he hires another film person to do a documentary on him trying to do the film to get it released. So you've got a number of things happening here, because you got the OG tapes from the original film students that they were going to turn into a documentary. Then you've got Gavin, who's taken the tapes and he didn't show everybody all the stuff, and so he's trying to release that as a movie. Which, by the way, I don't blame Gavin for this. I mean, there's like fucking 15 hours of footage that's not going to go in a theater.
No.
So
that's something when he gets with the production, like people giving him shit for wanting to like touch up the audio and stuff. Mm-hmm. I was thinking, well, I wouldn't release fucking home videos. You know what I mean? Just of course you're gonna touch up the audio and stuff.
Yeah, I was on his side for quite some time, even though he was douching.
Yeah, well,
because you have
I'm with him on that.
Yeah, even Sophia was like, edit this at the beginning. I mean, there's already editing happening. Yeah. It's like, if you want to create a documentary, you don't want a 15-hour fucking documentary. What he could have done is created that and also release all the footage online for people to see. That was my
well, and if you remember, there's even debate that in the film, there's people that doubt him, saying that he actually hired
actors,
Sophia and Feldman, and he was producing what is supposed to be the found footage.
Right. So you've got the new documentarian who is filming Gavin's search on trying to get this released and his research into everything. So that's when you find out that and I do like Gavin in the beginning, where he's like, look, I think it's fucking weird too that I happen to be a fucking film major and I find this shit. I get it. I
didn't like him from the get-go.
Oh, same. But I'm saying, I get him saying that, right? It's like,
okay,
that was one of the things. Like, for example, Amityville, right? One of the big things out there was like, well, George Lutz was already into occult things. I find that very convenient that all this stuff kind of happened and it was in all the books that he had. I'm like, okay, so pagans are never allowed to fucking have a haunting.
Yeah.
It's
I would say, honestly, what saying that, I would say like he's probably honestly more open to having a haunting than most.
100%. That was part of the shit, because there's a theory that George knew that house was a murder house and he was into occult kind of spiritualism and things like that, and kind of was looking into that. So, which, by the way, if you haven't seen my Amityville Horror about George Lutz's son, where he tells his true story of everything, it's a documentary, totally worth watching. And I know the Fearscape's trying to get this guy, but his wife is not liking all the press from it. But yeah,
again, not Fearscape.
It's messed up though. But he talks a lot about all the occult books and everything in the George.
I know. Yeah, like I've seen it.
Yeah. Anywho, so Gavin finds all this shit and he starts to kind of talk about the box of tapes and what's all on it. And so we see little things. We see like Sophia and Feldman and them going into the town and kind of interviewing people, asking about Peeping Tom.
Very much Blair Witch, by the way.
100%. You can very much tell that a lot of this was inspired by that. And I like that. I'm okay with that. I don't mind inspiration. Doesn't bother me at all.
You could almost, this is almost kind of in a way meta, I think.
Oh yeah.
Especially considering who he talks to at the radio station. Yeah. This is almost one of those I don't know, almost like a commentary. I would, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I'm telling you, I could have just 100% just watched the found footage of Sophia and Feldman and loved it, and just watched that story fleshed out more. I would have totally been down, because it was very Blair Witch, and I think it may be part of the reason why they went this route, the full route, is because it would have been too compared to Blair Witch. Because you know, and I have noticed that, like, there's always like hints to Blair Witch in a lot of these movies, but they kind of still have to do their own thing so that they don't get accused of ripping it off. Which sucks, because I would have loved to have had less time with Gavin.
I would have been a plus.
He's just not a likable guy. He's that cocky, arrogant guy that you know is insecure as a motherfucker.
Oh, I don't know anybody like that.
Yeah. But yeah, he's something else, man. And it's interesting because the documentarian guy, the main, like, for the new documentary, he's an interesting guy as well. Like, I'm always trying to figure out where he sits on things throughout the film.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I always, especially towards the end, I felt like he was sort of, that's what I'm looking for. Because, you know, he's sitting there, he's explaining to the radio DJ later on, you know, he's like, this is a character study. This is a, you know, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I feel like he's, because it's, especially in horror films, it always seems like the director is just perceived as this, like, megalomaniac, like Gavin. You know, well, but towards the end, I mean, and even now I'm thinking, was the dude doing the documentary, was he very different? Because, you know, I mean, even the camera people, his team are like, we've ruined this dude's life, you know.
Yeah.
One
thing I was surprised about is that we didn't see any of Gavin's work. You know, usually in these movies, like, they would show clips to, like, you know, Gavin's other work, which I think could have been if this was real, okay, it could have been beneficial to show, like, look, here's what he normally does. I mean, this is so far outside of the work that he does, or to say, look, here's his old work. It's so similar, right? One or the other.
I get that.
So, but
that would.
Yeah, going back to Sophia and Feldman, so back seeing their tapes again, because the first part is really them just talking about what happened. And so they go in there and you get Sophia and Feldman, they go to the train tunnel and nothing happens, right? They're like, okay. Yeah. Because they kept blinking and they were having a hard time holding their eye. They even got the guy in town that was like, I'm the number one.
Staring contest. Yeah.
Champion
staring
of the
contest
world.
Champion.
And which,
like,
such a fat bro guy, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite moments in the film. He couldn't do it, and then one of them, I don't remember.
Yeah, he lasts like 4 minutes.
Yeah, one of them, I don't remember who had the idea that the lens of a camera is an eye, and the shutter is a blink. And so they decide to just use the camera, right? Because, you know, like I said, they went around town, and this is almost very difficult. I mean, there's just urban legend within the urban legend that there was like one guy in the 1960s that did it. And there was only one guy that ever saw Peeping Tom.
That's something. I want to bring that up real quick. that is a part of the movie that made me, like, kind of bust out laughing. They're interviewing that old guy. He's like, I knew a guy in 1965 that he did it. He held his eyes open for an hour and saw the blink man. And they're like, well, that's what happened to him. And he says in the film, he goes, well, he died. like, duh. That part, oh man, that made me break out. Man.
Oh yeah,
he died.
I was cracking up, man. But yeah, there was that. So, you know, already they're like, it's really rare to figure out. And they tried to go into the history of Peeping Tom as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was something. They talked to a guy.
Mr. Folklore.
Which when they were referencing his books, I thought those sound familiar. And when I saw the cover, I'm like, those are real. The weird.
Yeah, the weird.
What are they called? Yeah.
We actually.
Those are.
We actually when I had that radio show back in the day, we actually had the weird Louisville. It's either Weird Louisville or Weird Kentucky author he was on. So I've actually talked to a similar guy. But yeah,
maybe.
A Mr. Folklore of Kentucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of those are real.
Some of us up, man.
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they set up the camera for an hour, and they're pissed because nothing happens. Which I thought, well, you're looking through the fucking camera. Of course, you're not going to see nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But they go and they review the footage, and lo and behold, right at the 1 hour mark,
some grainy footage. It looks like a magician coming up out of the ground.
Yeah.
Pretty well done. I really like the effects on that. Comes up. I mean, it does.
Simplicity. Yeah.
It looks very much like Mr. Hyde, classic Mr. Hyde look. It's got the top hat. See,
I was thinking Babadook. I can't pronounce that right.
I don't like Babadook, but Babadook is based off of Mr. Hyde. I mean, that classic Mr. Hyde look, the fucking, that cape. It's not called a cape though, but it's, that type of cape type thing from the late 1800s and almost Jack the Ripper, but the top hat. And that's the shadow figure that you see just standing there. And it was pretty good. That was one of the chilling moments. Definitely. As much as people hate grainy footage, it was grainy footage because this was supposedly 10 years prior. Is that right?
2004.
Oh, so even more so. So we're 14, 15 years prior. And we see that. And that's when we really start to get back into Gavin, because Gavin then starts really talking about the research that he did trying to find these people, and he could find nothing. He couldn't find who they were. He couldn't find records of them existing. He couldn't find the people that got interviewed. And and that was already.
They even have a cop on there.
Yeah, they even have a
cop on there.
And that was a big red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now, and it's funny because, that was a red flag that other producers gave to Gavin. And Gavin's like, that's my red flag. I have the same red flag. That, I can't find them, which makes me nervous about it. But I've taken it to people and I've had them run the footage and it's legit.
Yeah.
And so, it's just, so they see that, they get back and, Feldman's like, holy shit, look at this, Sophia, look. Oh my God. And they're like, oh my God, we got something.
Oh my God, it's the Blinkman.
This is the Blinkman. Mr. Blinkman. Tom Blinkman.
Mr. Blinkman. How are you, Mr. Blinkman?
Hello, Mr. Blinkman. But this starts consuming Gavin at this point. It's not just trying to get this released, but he's trying to legitimize it so that people, because he's running into all these walls because we can't find the information on these people. They've got names, they've got everything, and they cannot find that any of this exists. And so it's making him look like it's fake because he is trying to present it 100% as true. And, I think even at one point, the new documentarian dude, what's his freaking name? I want to give him credit because I did like him. Oh hell, I can't find him now. Regardless, he wants to I already forgot what I was thinking, Lance.
I don't know. I didn't know where you were going with that, honestly.
I don't either. Shit. I lost my train of thought because I was trying to figure out what his name was.
Because the next big thing that happened...
I was saying, he was saying, why don't you just release it as fiction? You know what I mean? Like, but Gavin is so, no, this is why you're here. And so the big thing, too, is that this is the first time that anyone has seen all the tapes. He gave complete access to the director. So
yes. Well, and then later on, you were saying that one reason he can't make it say it's legit is because he can't find any of the people involved. But as we were talking about earlier, he does come into contact with the weird USA guy, the guy who does the weird books or whatever.
Right. Oh, yeah, Mr. Folklore. And here's the other thing. So the reason I couldn't find it, because this is where it's real meta. This is what you're talking about, some of this being real meta.
Yeah.
So the director of the documentary is the director of this film. His name is Eric Christopher Myers, and he plays himself. So
I did not know that.
Yes. So that's why it was hard for me to find his name, because it's all the way down and it's under self. And so he is very meta, as he is directing this documentary fiction wise for us, but he is also playing himself in this fictional world, directing this documentary.
That's like Deadpool shit, man.
Yep. Yep. So he is. You mentioned how meta it is. Well, here's another thing. So Eric is the director of the documentary. So, anyway, so you were getting to the next part.
Yeah, they meet up with the folklore, Mr. Folklore, as you were calling him, and it's like. And Gavin is just acting like when they pull up, he's just freaking out like a fanboy would when they find the desert where Kirk fights that big lizard monster. Yeah, I mean, he's like totally geeking out, like
right, because this is the first proof that he's found, because they didn't have his name. Yeah. All it said was Mr. Folklore, because they hadn't done any editing, so there were no names across the screen or anything like that in the original thing. So all he had was like a picture of a house or something. He followed these clues and essentially found Mr. Folklore's house, which is creepy. But journalistic, which again, usually a lot of these things are people wanting to be journalists, you know? That's one thing that I found very interesting about this film. No one's a journalist. They were documentarians, which is a different breed of folks. It's really interesting. Like the tunnel is journalists, right? You know, so they're even Blair Witch, they're essentially journalists. I mean, they're film students, but they were also journalists. I think they were like film broadcasting majors. So like, it's interesting. So, but yeah, dude, I mean, this dude's giddy. Like he just found Candyland. Like he's.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's totally geeking out. Like I would if I'd, met.
Well, it's not even that. I think it's more than that. I think it's that. Oh my God! Finally.
Oh yeah, he feels justified.
Because he thinks this is going to be the map to the Holy Grail, because this guy can say, "Hey, yes, I met with them. They were real people. Here's their names. Here's where you can find everything." And oh, was he disappointed?
Oh yeah, that's what I don't know. It's sometimes I wonder, because there is a point where he gets very combative with Mr. Folklore, and even alludes to did you have something to do with the disappearance of Sophia and Feldman?
Oh yeah,
and that's about the time. Yeah,
I think this is when we really start to see Gavin lose his shit.
Yeah, but I don't know, that dude. When I think about it, there was something kind of suspicious about that guy.
Agreed.
He just doesn't remember anything about them. Mm-hmm. Just nothing. Just nothing.
I mean, to be fair though, it was 14 years ago. Okay, it was a nothing interview. He probably did those all the time, especially if he's Mr. Folklore. right? So he did that stuff all the time. It was probably just another thing. God only knows how long. Maybe they only stayed a half hour. I mean, I might give him the benefit of the doubt, but it was weird. I'm with you. It was weird. It was.
I'll go into my sort of theories more towards the end, you know, after we get through the synopsis.
But regardless, Gavin goes off on this dude. Yeah, man. I thought he was gonna fight him. I thought he was gonna fight him.
Yeah. Yeah. And eventually Mr. Folkler's like, get it.
Yeah, he was just like,
get it
the fuck out of my house.
Yeah. So they leave, and when they get back to Gavin's house, lo and behold, well, no, wait a minute, is that later on? I can't remember. I'm just gonna skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah,
though.
I don't care. We don't have a plot to look at and follow, so I don't know.
Yeah, so fuck it. But lo and behold, there for Gavin is a Dear John letter.
Oh man, so let's go back a little bit too, because I wanted to say they were already alluding, because they were interviewing Gavin's wife as well, Amelia, and she was pretty supportive. Okay, she was pretty supportive.
She was supportive, but you could tell that
she was like,
she was kind of at the end of her rope.
Right. Even her parents, they were like, hey, they legit found this stuff. I mean, it's like, you know, his wife was there. His kid. It was a really weird moment with his kid. Like at that one point.
That really.
That shows that how he was so consumed that there was no time for even with his kid. You know what I mean? It was just like
no relationship.
He was not spending the time he should have with his children and things like that. That's why I wanted to get into that a little bit. But what's interesting is Eric, the director, is interviewing Amelia, and he's like, at one point, he's like, has all the money matched up for all the weekends that he goes away for these wedding shoots? And she's like, well, I mean, I guess. So in a way, Eric ripped this fucking marriage apart to create drama, and he mentions that later on. He's just like, we fucked up his life.
And remember they also discovered the same camera that Feldman uses. They discovered that.
Yes,
I think that's why he questions the wife.
100%. And so there's a lot of things, but so he comes home and he finds a Dear John letter that his wife couldn't take it anymore, and she left. She took the kid.
Wait, is this before or after? See, because now I'm getting mixed up. Is this before or after the radio interview? Because the radio interview, that's really, I think, when like shit starts hitting the thing.
I actually think it's during, because I think it's when he comes home from the radio interview, because that's when he's really pissed, is after the radio interview. So I think if the radio interview happens first, and when he comes home, he finds the Dear John letter.
Yeah, but let's step it back a little bit, because we really need to talk about this radio interview, because this is where it gets really fucking meta.
It gets really meta, and it gets really fucked up too, because this is where Eric really starts trying to force his hand onto this narrative. Yeah. So go ahead, hit him up with the radio interview. It's all on you.
Well, anyway, I assume they never, unless I've just like completely missed something. It's sort of alluded to that there's this big radio station wherever they're from, and that the director Eric sort of gave Gavin this number. Is that what you kind of got from it?
Yes.
And he's being interviewed by this radio DJ. And this radio DJ, there's even parts where they're just interviewing the radio DJ, and the DJ's almost questioning their. Well, I mean, he is. He's questioning their motives, kind of like how I was saying earlier. He's saying, you know, what are you this? It's almost like Gavin, the DJ, almost acts like Gavin's just this village idiot. Yes. That, like, everybody knows about this. He's ridiculed for it. Nobody buys the shit, but he just will not let it go. So, and you know, that's when the director says, "Well, this is a character study," and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I mean, and Gavin thinks that this is going to turn the tide. In fact, he begs Eric to do it. You know, like,
oh yeah,
like,
yeah,
Eric,
yeah.
Please let me do this. I've got to get some information because he's trying to figure out this. Even though you hate Gavin, up to this point, you're still kind of sympathetic. You know what I mean? It's like that. Well, you're supposed to feel sympathetic.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's like the interview is crazy, and then they get a phone call in, isn't that right?
Yeah. Well, most of the radio interview or whatever you want to call it is just people calling in, giving Gavin shit. Gavin's just having to sit there and take it in a stupid little hat.
Yeah.
I hated that fucking hat. Anyway, that's besides the point. That adds nothing. But anyway, I hope you have it up on your computer right now, because the radio DJ in one of the interviews when it's just him, the director, says, I got somebody that could potentially maybe help out with this or get a little bit more buzz going. And what is the director's name? I want to say it's something Sanchez. Don't ask me why. I'm probably completely wrong.
It's the Blair Witch director.
Yeah, it's yeah. What's his name though? You got it?
I'm pulling it up right now. So.
Okay, I want to say it's something Sanchez.
Yeah. That's transition music. Eduardo Sanchez.
Okay, there we go. But it's him. He calls in, and he's, you know, and Eric, Gavin, you see him, he's all excited, you know. Oh, I'm a big fan of your work. And then this dude starts berating him also. Which
already, if we go along the lines in the process of the film where we're at this point, if we follow along the lines that Gavin is indeed making this up and secretly filmed all this shit, him being giddy that Eduardo Sanchez called was a tell. You know, at first I'm like, I mean, if you're already a found footage guy and you just happen to find some footage, like, already that was a tell. But yeah, dude, what a horrible day to have one of your fucking heroes rip you apart.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, that was such an awkward scene.
And man, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, again, this is one of those few moments where I was like, damn, I mean, I don't like him either, but geez. And this is where I was saying Eric is really starting to push the narrative. He is starting to create the narrative by creating drama and doing things like that. And he knew, because there was also that other guy, the guy that was like the film historian guy or whatever, that had looked. He's a real person as well. Talk about another meta. Person. He's a real person.
Yeah, because it even says something like he did some Bigfoot stuff or something like that.
And so you got all these things, and it's just making Gavin look
well. And he also we skipped across this too, because I don't know. I'm as I get older, when if I don't have like the synopsis right in front of me, I can't put a film in order. But remember, there's two occasions where he goes to paranormal groups.
Oh,
he has like a big.
Well, that's after this. So that's after this. Okay. So that's after this, because he goes home and he, you know, because after the interview and all that stuff, he goes home. That's when he finds the Dear John letter. And he's like, well, at least I have the paranormal group. Because he's lost everything at this point. He's lost everything. He's lost credibility. He's lost his family. He's lost, you know, Mr. Folklore. Obviously, Eric's not behind it. Eric's even questioning him during the documentary that maybe we should stop this. You know, there's just nothing going on. And Gavin's like, no, please, just help me do this. And then he's like, we've got the paranormal group, which, by the way, I looked up. They are real as well. So
are they? Okay.
Another meta moment. I don't feel like researching what their names are. So he goes to, like, a lot of paranormal groups, if they're open, they'll do kind of like open meetings once a month. I used to go to ones when I lived in Albuquerque, for the Albuquerque ghost hunters there. And they're fun. They show footage, they get to see who wants to get involved and things like that. Well, he talks to them that he wanted to make his presentation. Well, since it's a local ghost hunting group, they know about Peeping Tom. And so this is perfect. And they're all about checking out the footage. Well, Gavin's already lost his fucking gourd. At this point, he is falling down into that George Lutz route where, it has taken over him and he is losing his shit. Probably not the best state of mind to go into, especially because he's desperate and he is looking for anything, any sort of validation at this point, which by the way, again, I know I say I hate the guy, but I have to have sympathy here for him because this isn't even his work. It's someone else's work, and he is being scrutinized for someone else's work.
And buddy, do these people feel? Oh my God! Oh,
and they were real. They were the real ghost hunting group. Yeah. Just your average.
Well, I thought it was funny too, because you could tell he's just had it, and he's just giving them shit for stuff that they believe in. He's like, "Well, I'm sorry, it's not a bunch of fucking orbs."
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And he's just, and it's almost sitcom-y, but they would do the old trope where he goes out the wrong door.
Oh yeah, it was good. I mean, it was, it's funny because that ghost hunting group is a stereotypical ghost hunting group made up of fucking 40s and 50-year-olds, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
And
we got 1,800 likes on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or 800 likes or something like that.
That's about what they have. Legit. Anyways, but yeah, they're like the other one dude. I don't know what he said, but it was something along the lines. I mean, my grandkid could have made this.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Yeah. But nobody believed him. And the second he turned on them, the second they let loose, they're like, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, and like even on the subtitles, I just thought this was funny because, when he has his big meltdown and he leaves, they start applauding him. And on the subtitles, it even says, what does it say? It says something along the lines of, ironic applause, right. Or something like that, or disdainful applause, or something like that.
Oh man, that's so funny.
But okay, when he leaves, is this when he receives the Dear John letter?
No, he got it. I just said, he got it before, because he gets to the end of his rope. I'm pretty sure he gets that after the radio interview, and he has that last gleam of hope after the Dear John letter saying, at least I've got the ghost hunting group. So I think he's already gotten the Dear John letter where she took the kid and left, and he's just, I mean, that was a hard moment. For any of us that have a passion and we're always worried that our spouses are not going to support us, that was a tough one. And, I mean, she just took everything. And that sucked. And to have to be filmed, and he's like, turn that off. And turn it off. You know what I mean? It's no. I just felt so bad for him.
But then a little thing comes up, and they say like it's been like a week, 9 days, something like that since they last saw him. But all of a sudden they received.
Even before then, I want to get into before that. Of the OG documentary, we've got the story. Stories moved forward in that as well. That they're seeing shit. Feldman's losing his fucking mind. Like he's just getting really deep into shit, and she's just like, you're losing your fucking mind. She starts like video journaling saying, I'm worried about him. There's even a point where there was like a camera set up on Feldman and you could see the Peeping Tom in the mirror, like where she was talking about being worried about him. And then also we skipped this at some point, but Gavin went to the sound people to try to get sound analyzed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because they were, hearing different things, but it didn't make sense. And one of the very cool things, and I don't think Gavin ever got to see this because I think this is right when Gavin leaves, but they find that the sound waves, when they pulled out that noise, when they stacked the visual of the sound waves, it was the image of Peeping Tom.
Yeah, and it also the noise made out Morse code. It was blink.
Blink, yeah.
It was Morse code for blink, yeah.
And so even the sound guys were like, I mean, he's got to be really good to do that.
Yeah.
Like he's got to be really good to be able to do that. And I really enjoyed that aspect, you know, because again, here's Gavin trying to legitimize everything, and he's spending money. I remember there's a one with the sound people. They're like, how much is it going to be? 1,500? Yeah, okay, just make it happen. You know, like, and he didn't have the 1,500. He was just hoping that, you know, they would, you know, get royalties, you know, and shit like that. But yeah, so like you also get like Feldman, the original film guy, is just losing his fucking mind. And this is where it gets very Blair Witchy, right? It's like he's seeing shit and all kinds of stuff like that. Crane comes over to fucking visit him, and she's like, look at this. And then you see he goes into the camera, like crazy shit's happening, and then Peeping Tom, roar, in the one jump scare.
One of the best jump scares ever, by the way. I don't think me twice. Yeah.
Well, what's funny is because the best jump scares for me are the ones you know are coming, because you're already on edge, because you're just like, when's it gonna happen? So I knew something was gonna happen. And that was another thing. The film guy, the Sasquatch film guy, he even looked into the eyeball of the scary Peeping Tom image. He froze and zoomed in on it, and it was the other side of the tunnel, and the image that was in there was the image of Feldman. And so, you know, crazy shit there. So I wanted to get that out there real quick. So yeah, the next bit is they can't find Gavin. They don't know where the hell he is. He gone. And he's disappeared. It's been like 9 days. Like, he's just off the map. Nobody knows where he is. And Eric and the crew are like, should we even like pursue this? Should we try to go after him? And I don't know if it's before or after they get the package, but they're just like, you know, Eric's like, we did this to him. And I wanted
because remember they find him at the train tracks, and he's doing the same thing that Sophia and Feldman did. He's recording.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah, and he has scars on his face. And what is it? He says something. He's like, it doesn't tickle, it itches. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's talking about the kisses, the butterfly kisses.
Yeah, the butterfly kisses.
Peeping Tom's like right there in front of him or something.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was creepy as shit, man. And they were like, just keep filming.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Yeah. And it's like, I wanted his film crew to be like, what do you mean we caused this, Eric? You caused. That's what I wanted. It was never said, really, but But yeah, so that, and then he kind of disappears again, right? Or is that all tied together?
No, he does. He disappears again. That's when they receive the package.
Yeah, and then they receive this package. It's got a tape in there and some other shit. I don't remember what's all in there.
The journal that Feldman kept, and I think the journal that he was keeping, because remember, there's a motel key in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that's when they go to the motel. They figure out the motel and no one's there. You talk about it. I don't remember this shit.
Okay, damn. But anyway, no, they go there, and they go in, and he has cameras set up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like the little cameras everywhere.
Yep.
And obviously he's been Gavin, has been living there, and then all of a sudden one of them bust out of the restroom and just run out into the open area or whatever, and they find that Gavin's there dead in the bathtub. And I have a hard time. I remember for some reason towards the end I can remember everything in sequence, but about the last 20 minutes of this film is when I think it just kind of
Yeah, because as much as you hate Gavin, the focus goes off of Gavin and you lose the drama.
Yeah, well, I thought it got really confusing.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it got, like I said, the last 20 minutes, it got really confusing, and it got really just fucking basic.
Yeah, it got.
You know what I mean? Like
it almost felt like it was The Ring meets It Follows. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah. It turned. Here's this really interesting concept, and it.
Because like they find all of his shit, they call the cops, but I guess they kept the tape, like one of the tapes they found.
They did keep the tapes, and then there's this scene where Eric, the director of the documentary, you see him talking to his crew, and they kind of went out of it. They're like, well, our story's kind of done. Our lead, for lack of a better term, is dead. And he's like, no, this is only the beginning. This is,
why don't you call the wife? Well, we only had one number and she changed her number. Well, why don't you call the mother-in-law? Well, they've moved from the house and we did everything through Amelia, so.
Yeah, and they, and at one point they just point blank ask the director, they say, do you believe in Peeping Tom? And he never answers. He never gives them a straight answer. And then we get to the final scene of the found footage of Sophia, where at the end, the ending of that, where she says, "I found a way to beat him," and she breaks open this like picture frame, and she cuts her eyelids open.
Right.
Off.
Well, and it was cathartic for her. Because the picture frame had the award that she won that Feldman didn't understand why he didn't win it. And so it was always like a matter of contention through the whole thing anyways. But yeah, so that's that. Yeah. And she cuts her fucking eyelids off.
Yeah. And I found that just very underwhelming. Just like I said, as interesting as this movie was, that's just a very basic...
Well, especially because it implies that she survived. You know what I mean? I'm like, but we know she didn't. I would have rather have him just shown up and eaten her face. Like, I would have been okay with that.
Well, it just, like I said, the last 20 minutes, it's kind of after Gavin gets the Dear John. It like I said, I found it very, I don't know. It really confused me. I thought it was very, just kind of by the numbers,
Yeah, agreed. Solid movie, and it's one of the... It was really solid. Just that last 20 minutes. Yeah, and I still say check it out. Maybe sure. You'll get a different. Yeah, maybe you'll get a different opinion from me as with regard to. And please, if you do watch this film and you get it, please message us or whatever and explain it to me. Because I'm wondering now if Gavin's eyelids were cut off when we see him in the tub.
I don't remember. Because it's almost Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's just those flashes.
Because it should have been. Because if that's the whole thing, that she figured out how to beat him, and he's scared now because he's trying to figure out how to beat him, and he's seen these videos, he would have cut his fucking eyelids off.
Yeah. But I do have a theory though, because I say that. I mean, I think it's pretty much proven if you ask me. I don't think it leaves it like open ended. I think Peeping Tom is a real creature or whatever. And I think, and see, this is me thinking like way too, thinking about it way too much. But I took it as those people that like Sophia and everybody, and even the teachers, they really existed. But and you could say it's like, the police or even like the Men in Black or something like that. But I feel like they that this Peeping Tom thing could almost become an epidemic. Almost like Freddy in a way.
Yeah,
they want to keep it contained.
Yeah, I can see that, and there are some movies that are similar to that I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
but I just I feel like somebody was wanting to keep this Peeping Tom thing contained, and they found a way of unleashing it. And I don't know. And I mean, even that has plot holes too. That probably,
yeah.
But that's the only thing I could kind of come up with.
Yeah, I do know that one of the things that people liked about this in regards of found footage, and one of the things that most people hate about found footage is shaky cam. And there was little to no shaky cam in this. And so I know that a lot of people did enjoy that aspect.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing a lot more of that. It's less shaky cam, less running. We're seeing more of these documentary styles as opposed to like Paranormal Activity, which is 100% shaky cam.
Well, yeah, it's evolving like anything else. I just watched, it's considered found footage, but it's all done through, I guess it would be Zoom. It isn't Host. But Unfriended.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that yet. No, it's on my list.
Yeah, Unfriended.
And there's a sequel to it too, I believe.
Yeah. Unfriended's like called Dark Web or something. Yeah. But and that's done entirely through a computer.
Interesting.
So Host, oh my God, I can't say enough good things about Host.
Oh, same. I love Host. But I wanted to give you a little bit of trivia here on this movie. Was that I'm reading here that the viral marketing campaign for this film was so successful that the Blinkman legend was included in a book on local folk tales called Haunted Ellicott City by Shelley Davis Wagent. After the book was published, the director
I've heard about this.
reached out to the author to let her know that he had concocted the legend as a marketing campaign for the film. Despite Meyer's concern that she would be angry, Wagent said that, well, I thought it was genius.
And
I'm like, hey,
I thought that was pretty cool.
That's how fucking folklore happens. I mean, look at creepypasta. That's what creepypasta is, just the new folklore.
Yeah.
Urban folktales and stuff. That's how it all gets started. Yeah. Somebody writes something or tell a story and people start believing it. I mean, that's and if you believe in energy and stuff, does it get created? Does it really manifest itself?
Now you're getting really fucking out there.
I'm pagan, okay.
I don't want there to be a Peeping Tom.
Oh, well, besides me.
Well, yeah, true. There's only 2 Peeping Toms in nowhere. All right, people.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed the film. And it wasn't, for example, like I brought up It Follows. I hate It Follows because the ending.
Oh man,
the ending made me hate the movie. As much as I didn't care for the ending of this movie, it didn't make me hate it.
No, it didn't. No, nor did this.
I
don't
said,
hate it. Like I said,
yeah, It Follows made me hate the whole movie, but this did not. I recommend it. I think it's well done. It's a great independent film. You will hate Gavin, and it's on purpose. I mean, given that. He is a phenomenal actor if he pulled that off, if he's not like that in real life.
Yeah, hopefully not.
And again, the cream, the frosting on the cake was getting Eduardo Sanchez. Brilliant move. Brilliant.
That made it so man. I just that brought it into a whole new sort of other territory or whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
I know. Like I tell you what,
like I said, that's just up to that point, it's so different from the other found footage films. But then it's just that last 20 minutes, and it's not. And I want to clarify this. I wasn't like bored or anything. I was still entertained. I enjoyed it.
Are we not entertained?
Yeah, but that last 20 minutes it didn't live up to the rest of the film.
I think we could have seen far more of the original footage because I felt like that story was far more compelling than Gavin's story. There was much more drama. The relationship between Sophia and Feldman, I think, was strong. And I think we could have intercut a lot more of that because that's what I was really interested in. I mean, the whole movie was about whether or not this was real, and I don't feel like we saw enough of that footage, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I will say, also, Sophia reminds me of our friend from Improv 502, Molly. Do you remember Molly from the last?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. And which Molly has a great TikTok. If you've never been on Molly's TikTok,
I don't have TikTok, but I sure she does. I know she's a brilliant musician.
Oh, she's a brilliant musician and comedian, and she's great. But anyways, the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, that's Molly, and I'm like, wait, was she the actress?
Was she? Yeah, I need to get on that. Because that was something else. I wish, like I said, and maybe it's for the better. Maybe he wanted to leave it that way, so two idiots like us could sit up here and talk about our own theories. But I just wish there was something. They just sort of drop it, like why these people are just kind of erased.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And like maybe.
I feel like he was almost trying to set himself up for a sequel, to be honest.
Maybe because it's like, and I'm not saying they had to like just fucking spoon feed it to you and say, well, so blah blah blah. They didn't have to do but just give us a hint.
Yeah.
Like I mean, was it the Men in Black? Were they trying to contain the?
But I mean, people like directors love to be mysterious on purpose, and and I know a lot of people get mad at that, and I do. My dad, oh my God, if you have an ambiguous ending, my dad's like, this piece of shit, and I'm like, Dad, but what about the rest of the movie? Nope. Why can't they just fucking tell me what fucking happened? I just invested 2 fucking hours.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not like that. I enjoy ambiguous ending, but it's just this. It was just this. It's just like it's just fucking dropped.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of move on, like like just a hint of something. Like fucking, they were eaten by sharks or something. I don't know. Yeah, something,
because obviously Gavin found out way more. That's what I was getting. That's why I was getting excited. I was like, oh, if Gavin's going full hog into this, that means he's found out some shit, and we're gonna get some answers. And we didn't get any answers because Erica was just like, we have this tape, but we're not gonna show you any of the footage.
Yeah.
Like you ain't gonna show.
Maybe there will be a sequel. Who knows?
I don't know. But I did enjoy it, though. It is available on Paramount Plus and Tubi TV right now.
It's available on Prime also.
Oh, it is on Prime? Okay.
Yeah, that's how I watched it. Because it was really weird watching it yesterday. Because usually when I watch, I don't know why it didn't do this yesterday. But, and I don't know if it does this for you, but like... because some things on Prime are free with ads, and usually, there's a little spot where an ad's coming in, and it'll even kind of buffer, and okay, here comes an ad. But I don't know if the internet was just working extra good yesterday, but the ads would just pop up, and I would almost think, is this part of the fucking movie? Because it's just something with Walmart, because there's like Gavin, and he says something, and then it fucking, go to Kroger.
Yeah,
I was like, what the fuck? It kept tripping me up.
I think that's when it's the IMDb TV stuff. So
yeah, it's IMDb. Yeah.
But I did enjoy it. I watched half of it while I was at work, and the other half while I was at home at night. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And like I said, I watched it twice, and I enjoyed it both times.
I'd watch it again. I'd love to kind of do a deep dive and rewatch it again and see what I missed. And stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely highly recommend it. The ending is hit or miss. I think that's more of a matter of I would have done this differently.
Armchair director.
Yep. But very meta moments, especially now knowing that the director played himself. That blows my mind. I didn't know even more so. It's done really well for a low budget film. It's got a 75% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's pretty good. And it's only audience score. I don't even think they have like legit reviewers on this one because I guess it was kind of low budget. I thought it was genius. Very cool. Highly recommend. Once again, check it out. Lest we forget, 2018's Butterfly Kisses. There are a number of Butterfly Kisses movies out there, so make sure you put 2018.
Yeah.
That will help.
Yeah.
There's also the Bob Carlyle song that I sang earlier, the Jesus song. So with that,
it's got the Mister's seal of approval.
Swing, bunk, bunk, bunk. Sound effects. And with that, dear friends, we come to the end of another delightfully disturbing episode of Misters of the Dark. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you to the Fearscape Media Network, and thank you to Corey Adams and Ashley Jones Adams from Nothing Wrong for our delightful musical theme.
Stefan!
Ah!
He's here.
Who?
Peeping Tom is here.
Now, Lance, I'm right here. If he even tries to get near you,
No, dear brother. The devil has finally come to collect his due. I'm so sorry. I just wish. What the?
Huh?
Hey, wait a minute. Aha!
Uh-huh?
Oh, joy! Oh, rapture!
Man with no name, you want to clue me in with what the hell is going on?
It's like you said, Stefan. There's nothing to worry about. That tall, slender, black mark of death wasn't Peeping Tom. It was merely an eyelash that got caught in my contact lenses. I really need to remember to take those out at night.
Why, you little... You mean I stayed up with you day and night for a whole week over a damn eyelash?
Isn't it hilarious? Well, all's well that ends well.
Let me tell you something, little brother. Let me tell you, sir, your end is extremely fucking nigh. Get him, Bloody Mary!
Stefan! It was an honest mistake, Stefan!
But before we go, dear friends, I will leave you with this. Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Good night! Ooh, damn, Mary, I like your style. What you doing after this homicide?